It just seems that like the world is so hell-bent on badgering specifically Black women. Those who are supposed to be leading the community is turning around and saying, hey, I know I made this child with you, but you're the bad one for having it. Good morning, guys. Y'all, I'm exhausted. I'm so freaking tired. Like, I can sleep for another 5 hours, right? Just like right now as a nap, and then still go to bed at night. I'm exhausted. Anyway, I'm supposed to be going out later this evening. But right now I'm about to pull up my blinds because it's feeling quite gloomy and dark in here right now. So one moment, please. I don't understand. This is much, much better. I don't understand why whenever I'm supposed to go out, and of course this doesn't happen all the time, I'm exaggerating, but it's gloomy and cloudy today. I'm like, ugh. I low-key just want to stay on my couch, but I am forcing myself. Raise your hand if you guys are having this same issue. I just would rather stay in my house and chill. But you know, if you want a partner and if you want to meet people and if you want to date, you got to get out the house. That's what they say. So I'm going to do that. But anyway, I'm about to make me some breakfast. I am thinking I have some avocados that I need to get through. And so I'm thinking I'm going to make like an avocado toast. So let's get that started because I am starving. I mentioned to you guys how I'm trying to like, you know, be more healthy and mindful of the things that I eat, which I've always done that. But my sister was telling me about microgreens, which I've never had before. I'm sure I've had it, but didn't know they were microgreens. But I've never purchased them myself to like incorporate in what I eat. So I picked up like 3 of them. Okay, so I picked up Micro Spring Mix. That's the one I just opened up. I'm gonna go ahead and make like a very janky avocado toast. And the reason why I say janky is because I don't have my red onions, I don't have lime, so I'm using lemon and I'm using white onion in my avocado. But I mean, that's just me wanting to be particular about how I make my avocado. My guacamole. So I'm going to make avocado toast, but I'm going to do it like guacamole style. So anyway, I also picked these up. This one is micro arugula. I heard so many good things about why arugula is good for you. Let's see how this tastes. And I also have micro broccoli. I need to figure out like how I'm going to eat these things. Like, do I have to make a salad and put this in? I know I can go ahead and put it on top of avocado toast. I need to figure out different ways. Like, do people put this in smoothies? Arugula already has a distinct taste, but this one says peppery and bright, so I don't know how that's going to taste in the smoothie. This one says mighty and balanced. That might be good in a smoothie. So anyway, I'm just trying new things and seeing what I can incorporate. I'm gonna go ahead and make this guacamole to start building my avocado toast. I think I am going to go ahead and also fry 2 eggs to put on top. I'll show you guys the finished product. So as I get this guacamole together for this avocado toast, I wanted to talk to you guys about like these 2 videos that I saw the other day that has me, I had 2 schools of thought. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's this obsession with policing Black women's bodies and telling Black women what's appropriate, what's not. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these conversations are not being had in other communities, which kind of irritates me just a little bit. I'm like, why are and maybe it feels that way because I'm in the community. And when I say community, I mean the Black community. And when I say culture, I mean the Black culture. So the first school of thought is like, why are we constantly having these types of conversations? Why are people always so concerned about Black women what they have going on? What I'm specifically talking about is this discord that's being had about baby mothers and toxic baby mama culture and that sort of thing. I sat and thought about it. My other school of thought was like, okay, well, I do feel like there is a shift happening in the culture. And so as a community, we do need to have certain conversations because I would say things that have been normalized in our culture are being revisited to see like, hey, maybe this is dysfunctional. Maybe this is something that we should reconsider. Maybe we shouldn't normalize this type of behavior. And so I can understand where the discord is needed. I guess what I don't like is when the conversation can get disrespectful, particularly on the male side. I don't really see that often on the women's side. But of course, you have people like Melanie King, who is a single mother herself, making these kind of claims. But, we all have those type of women in our lives that we just kind of like, girl, have a seat. But anyway, those were my two initial schools of thought around these type of topics about toxic baby mama culture. Now, me personally, right, taking this broad overview look at it, I strongly agree with the likes of Chanel and the likes of Yanni. And those are the two videos I'm going to go ahead and link down below because I appreciate Yanni's commentary on Chanel's video, and I agree wholeheartedly with Chanel. I'm smashing up the guac and I'm seasoning it up, and I have the eggs going. I don't know if you can hear it frying, but this is gonna be hella good, y'all. Anyway, so yeah, it's hard to like have these conversations because a lot of us are products of single mothers and products of, just we understand the hardships that single mothers go through, whether we're a product of a single mother or we have friends who are single mothers. And oftentimes, let's be for real, like at least in my circle, it's not to the fault of the mother. Like, I know like there's this weird narrative that is kind of spun into these conversations that makes it seem like the woman just willy-nilly went into a situation and wanted to be a single mother. Of course, there are situations like that, yes. But for the most part, these women were lied to by men. And they found themselves in a situation where, for one reason or another, they did not choose to, not proceed with their pregnancy. But putting aside those nuanced scenarios, right? Let's reel it back and bring it down to just the bare basics, right? I do agree that women need to be, particularly Black women, because I'm a Black woman and so that's my experience, right? And that's most of my exposure is to other Black women. Black women need to become a bit more selective and mindful with whom they entrust their bodies with, right? Accountability, coming to the front of this conversation, is being more selective with who you choose to have sex with, being more mindful of who you choose to engage with on an emotional level, because that's how they get you first. They get into your heart, then they get into your mind, and then next thing you know, they're in your body. So let's be for real, there's a process to this. And oftentimes we make excuses, we, ignore the red flags, or we engage with this person physically prematurely, and then you have this bond or this emotional bond with them that is hard for you to break. That means being intentional, being conscious of what you want and what you're going to do at the onset. Now, let's be for real, y'all. These guys are crying when we say you got to have a job and clean up after yourself. Like, that criteria is for them too much. So I can't imagine what they're going to do when Black women start saying, you need to have a job, you need to clean up after yourself, you need to have your own, be of sound mind, and display emotional maturity, display emotional vulnerability, display signs that you could be a potential good father figure, display that you are a responsible adult, and in the event that we do have a child, you would step up to the plate and take care of myself and the child. Like, it's I think it's very much needed, because there's a shift happening where the dysfunction is no longer acceptable. And I hope we continue on this trajectory, because I feel like a lot of women have fallen prey to a lot of this dysfunction. And a lot of us are byproducts of that dysfunction. A lot of the things that are wrong, we've said are right. Like, who decided that for Black women, the reason why I want to tread carefully on this topic is, again, we all have close loved ones that have been in these scenarios. This is why I'm sort of mincing my words on this, but it's like in other communities, there is a clear standard and framework. Obviously, there are anomalies that fall outside of that framework. But I feel that within the Black culture and the Black community, we lack that structure, that standard, and that framework, which says, hey, the woman is the prize. A, when a man comes along, he must display characteristics that makes him qualified to win that prize or potentially win that prize. B, should he be granted the opportunity by the woman to win that prize, he then has certain obstacles that he has to overcome. Do you love the person? Can you communicate with that person? Can you coexist with that person? Are you guys aligned mentally and emotionally and spiritually? And then, only then, once those things make sense, okay, you want me? Cool. You have to marry me. And before you marry me, go to my family so that they can vet you properly, right? And then once they give me the green light, because, I've already expressed, oh, I do like this person. I feel like they have all the required elements for me to proceed with them. So now the family does their second layer of vetting. And then only then could the man even think about pursuing you in a way that would allow him to think that he could even kiss you, hold your hand, even take it to the next step, if that's what the woman wants. In this generation, not even this generation, in this culture, in our community, we've kind of like done away with that and have convinced ourselves that, like, oh, in the spirit of liberation, freedom, and a new age, we can forego all of these checks and balances. But then that led to high teenage pregnancy rates, that led to high rate of broken homes, and that led to a high level of a lack of accountability on the male side. And so now we're in a position where it's like, how the F did we get here? We got here because we did away with that structure and that framework. And it can be hard to hear from the woman's perspective, because yeah, we played a role in that and we have some level of accountability. But I'm sure it's also hard for the male to hear, because they're essentially being told they've dropped the ball on being a leader of a community. And that's the reality of it. They have. We've all failed each other. And now is the time for us to reel it back, because we can't keep going on this way. We really can't. It's bad. In my particular family structure, I do. There is an expectation. There is a way to do certain things. And so that's always been in the background for me. But it doesn't mean that that's what has dictated all the decisions of my life, because I'm an adult and I make my own decisions, right? Food break. Here's the avocado toast. I went ahead. This is I made the guacamole and I seasoned it. I wonder if I should put the microgreens first. Yeah, I'm gonna put the microgreens on there. I really hope it tastes good, because I'm gonna be upset if it don't taste good. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these are a pain to wash. They're a pain to wash. A lot of them are stuck in the what do they call this? Sieve? I'm gonna just call it passoire, which is what we call it in Creole, okay? All right. Now we're placing the egg. Okay, here's the egg. And here is my second egg. Y'all, this gonna be good. Let's give it a taste test. Y'all, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I'm about to enjoy this. And I'm gonna have it with my lemon perfect. This is the last one I have, so I need to order another box. But this is the original lemon. Anyway, I don't know where I left off, y'all. I was devouring this thing. This is what I have left. But yeah, check out those videos. Let me know what you guys think. I think there's a shift happening in our community. I do see the difference when one has the framework and when one does not have the framework. And it's not a better than scenario. It's simply, do I have a guide or a foundation in this life as a woman to help me navigate what I should or should not be doing, what I can do, can require. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have that framework and foundation. And that framework and foundation doesn't mean your life is going to be perfect. It doesn't, because we have freedom of choice. And just like any other human, I make mistakes or make bad choices all the time. It's not always a mistake. Sometimes it's just you make a bad choice, period. We're not exempt from that, just because we have this guidance and framework. And that goes for any culture, any community. It just seems that the world is so hell-bent on badgering specifically Black women for making mistakes and bad choices. And oftentimes in our own community, those who are supposed to be leading the community is turning around and saying, hey, I know I made this child with you, but you're the bad one for having it. That's something I just don't agree with. But scaling back, because I do feel like that's a separate conversation. Right now, it is important to stress to young women who do not yet have children to really evaluate. If you do want children, how does that look for you? I would lean towards saying single motherhood shouldn't, it's not that it couldn't, but it shouldn't be your goal, right? Life will life, and we can't guarantee outcomes, but I didn't go to college saying I might fail, so I'm not gonna go. No, you're going to make a plan, you're going to set out your major, you're going to do those classes, and then you're gonna graduate and get your certificate. I feel like we need to have that same mindset and approach when it comes to marriage and children and partnerships. And there's a lack of guidance there. So if you do want children, what kind of man do you want to have that child with? What does it look like? What does it feel like? You know, is he somebody who has a lot of money and is always on the road? Is he somebody who has a lot of money and is able to stay home? Is he someone who works a 9 to 5? Is he an entrepreneur? Is he somebody who's hands off and you are someone who wants to be more hands-on? Is it a 50-50 situation when it comes to the labor and care of the children or care of the home? Whatever it is, like there's over 1,000 scenarios with this stuff. It's all about what it looks like for you and how you want your life to look like and what you're comfortable with. But you need to have an idea, because if you go into this dating scene dealing with these men who will bring you to hell and back, hell, the inferno, and under hell and the inferno, girl, you need to be the one driving the boat. Like, he could take care of the sails, but you need to be driving the boat. Like, hey, are we going left or right? Oh, you going left? No. Keys out the engine, we not moving. Oh, you going left? Okay, I do like where you're heading. We can go ahead and keep this boat moving. Okay. You need to have a vision for your life. And then once you have that vision for your life, anything that does not fit that vision needs to get cut off. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you keep making concessions on your life, you will be affected by the consequences. Those consequences can be lifelong, okay? You know, because a child is a lifetime. I like that these conversations are being had, because when I was a teenager, those conversations were not being had. I literally had a daycare in my high school. Like, girls would come, drop their kids off in the daycare. It was literally on the same floor as our classes. It was the norm. It was the norm. People had kids. I mean, in 5th grade, 5th and 6th grade, I had a girl in my class that was pregnant, fighting another girl in high school who was also pregnant by the same person. Like, you don't realize how dysfunctional that is until you become an adult and you're like, yo, people were willingly doing this? Let me know down below what your thoughts are. This is by no means an attack on single mothers, okay? This is by no means an attack on anyone who lives that lifestyle. You knew what you knew, you know what you know. Single mothers are hardworking, amazing pillars of our society, of our community, of our culture. But it would be disingenuous to say that it's not hard and that if you could have prevented it, you would have. My friends who had children by themselves tell me all the time, take your time, girl. They tell me that. They're like, take your time. Find the right partner. Because if they could have someone help them, support them, and do it with them, that's what they would have opted for. I'm glad that people are becoming more comfortable having that conversation, because let's be for real, those who are supposed to be leading us in this community are leading us on a path that doesn't make sense, and that is a path of dysfunction. When I see people like Future and Nick Cannon, I'm just like, I hope this is not the blueprint for where we're going as a society. Because, well, I was going to say I will jump ship, but I've already jumped ship. Like, I'm open to all cultures at this point. I'm not limiting myself to one group of people for my potential husband. And I think all women should do that. Whoever treats you right and where their vision aligns with yours, that's where you need to be. And I want us all, myself included, to be more intentional about the types of people we let into our lives and not be afraid to cut off those who just simply do not match what we want and what we deserve. Period. Have those standards, create those boundaries, work on yourself, and that's it. That's all you can do. Anyway, I'm about to go ahead and finish my avocado toast. I look forward to reading your comments and seeing what your perspective is on this. I hope I wasn't all over the place, but that's what these kind of conversations are. They are very complex. They're nuanced. You can't capture every single scenario in these types of conversations. So I hope you guys were able to follow along with my point and what I was saying. But I'm open to hearing your perspectives and how you guys feel about these types of conversations down in the comments below. Okay, guys, just popping in. So I'm all ready and dressed. Please excuse my closet. I mean, it's not terrible right now, but it could use some organization. I'm trying to decide if I want to add in more blush or if we're going to keep the glow from within kind of blush. Let's go into natural lighting. Is it me or... Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. I could use just a tad bit more right here. I don't like to overdo it with the blush, but I could use a tad bit more. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to wear like my Vince Camuto suede boots or if I'm going to rock these heels. But I kind of feel like, I kind of feel like I should wear the boots only because the dress is short and I feel like I need something to make it look just a tad bit more, not appropriate. How can I say this? Because it's midweek, it's like a midweek evening. I feel like, you know, people are coming out from work to go to this thing. So I kind of don't want to be like wearing a super duper short dress. Wearing longer boots can kind of help to offset the fact that I have on a short dress. Here's the thing, I will always opt for a short dress. My beloved Pat McGrath, love this stuff. I love her mascara, that's what I have on right now. I have on her blush. I love her lipsticks. Wait, I'm wearing a gloss, but I have her lipstick as a base. Yeah, just slightly more, just to bring some color to the face. Okay, I need to decide, am I wearing the boots, yes or no? Yes. If I am wearing the boots, which I've just decided that I am. Okay, so this is the full fit. I hope you guys can see me. I'm just wearing a basic red sweater dress. It does have a cute side split, small little detail. And my Vince Camuto boots. You know, I'm just keeping it real simple. I contemplated like whether I should put my hair up in a ponytail, but I was like, girl, you're gonna be in and out. Okay, in and out. Y'all, can I be honest for a moment? Like, it is so difficult dressing yourself. Let me put this down. Can we talk about it? Like, I'm gonna have a transparency moment. It's so difficult dressing yourself when you've gained weight. It's very, I'll use the word frustrating. It's very frustrating to try on different things that you own that used to look so good and fit so perfectly, and then now they're too tight or don't fit at all. And I was going through that. I was just like, this is ridiculous. So I told myself, you know, I didn't beat myself up about it. I have a plan on what I'm going to do to try to figure out why I'm gaining so much weight. It's definitely not an issue of overeating because I don't overeat. So I kind of have to figure out what's going on with that. And I do work out. As you guys know from my previous vlogs, I do work out. So I'm trying to figure out, I mean, I am in my 30s, so they say that plays a role in it. But that aside, all of that aside, I'm like, you know what? There's outfits that I've had for quite some time. I just need to go into my closet, get rid of everything that doesn't fit, donate them, and just go ahead and buy some new items that fit the new me. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know where these came from. Okay? I don't know where these came from. I need to get some new bras. I need to get some new tops. I need to get some new dresses. Cause honey, okay, I am a little bit more filled out. And how can I put it? Like, it's not that I hate the way that I look. There's certain aspects of it that's frustrating because I'm not accustomed to dressing myself at this size. So yeah, I just got to figure that part out. And then it's hard when you have other more important things like work and going after other endeavors that take your time and attention. So that's just what's been keeping me busy. I just gotta figure out what's gonna make me happy, okay? At this size, this weight right now. I can't add another stressor on my plate. But let me know if y'all go through the same thing. Like, you know how it is when you gain weight or drastically lose a lot of weight, and then you're trying to figure out what the heck's going on with your wardrobe, and then when it's time for you to go out, it's like none of this stuff fits or none of this stuff is flattering. And I had a frustrating moment today when getting ready for this thing. Anyway, that was my little rant and ramble. Oh, let me do a little thumbnail.